be honest with you though, folks, did we even think this was going to go smoothly? Because I didn't. We saw it with Microsoft when they bought Activision, and how much people were like, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to try and do this, we're going to try and stop things, or we want people involved. Now, it's going the same way with EA and Saudi Arabia's acquisition of it. So as you can see, Saudi Arabia's acquisition of EA Electronic Arts faces pushback from game developers. Petition calls on FTC to scrutinize this deal closely. So the Video Game Workers United Union, they want approval of the deal to be contingent upon protecting jobs and game studios. Yeah, this is the main thing. You want people who currently work there and the game studios who are still making the games, you want them to still be around and to still be employed. You know, it's like that's what their job is. That's how they put food on the table. This is what gives them clothes on their back. And we've seen it one too many times where a big Saudi Arabia acquisition has happened. Hell, we saw it with Microsoft and Activision. We're going to buy it for 60 odd billion. Great. But then all of a sudden people started getting laid off. You know, oh, we're merging your studio with this studio, so you're no longer going to be working for us because there's just too many people now in the one studio. We have seen that happen so many times. And it's currently going to happen with this, guarantee it. So the $55 billion acquisition of EA by Saudi Arabia's public investment fund and private equity firms is facing more pushback, as the United Video Game Workers CWA Union has put out a statement calling on regulators and lawmakers to ensure that any path forward protects the jobs, preserves the creative freedom, and keeps decision-making accountable to the workers who make EA successful. Yeah, you know, it's interesting to see that the people who work for this company, and again, some of these people could be some of the highest paid ones in EA, they could be the directors, they could be the ones who go out and get all the licenses, what they need and everything else. Basically what makes the actual running of a company happen. But if all of those people either lose their jobs, or like we said, a studio merges with another studio, which we recently saw with Ubisoft and Tencent for Vantage Studios, key people could be let go. And to be honest with you, that's not exactly right. You know, it's not fair. That's what we're trying to get at. But as you can see by here though, I don't know why PC Gamer did this because it kind of messed up. EA is not a struggling company, with annual revenues reaching $7.5 billion and $1 billion in profit each year. Maybe that should be the other way around. EA is one of the largest video game developers and publishers in the world. That's what the union has said. But EA's success has been entirely driven by tens of thousands of EA workers whose creativity, their skill and innovation made EA worth buying in the first place. Yet we, the very people who will be jeopardized as a result of this deal, were not represented at all when this buyout was negotiated or discussed. Yeah, so with that part by there, this is literally the biggest thing going. And I got experience in this type of field because I used to work here in the UK for Tesco Supermarket. I was one of their social media managers. Now, where we worked, it was in Cardiff. We had an entire building, and they came to us one day and they were like, oh yeah, we're selling the building. All of you can either move to London or that's it. You've lost your jobs and you're made redundant. That obviously all of us were like, yeah, we're not moving to London. We're not going to usurp our families and just move. So when they got rid of us and they made the majority of us redundant, the team who took over social media, they've ran it into the ground. It's no longer fun. People are complaining about the social media people because, well, when you have people who don't know what they're doing and they don't engage with customers, that's the problem. And it's this exact same thing with this, because as it says, with this, the thousands of EA workers who made EA worth what it is, that's why they bought it. And if they get rid of these workers, it's going to crash and burn. And especially if they decide to get rid of studios, because as you can see by here, they are $20 billion in debt. So noting that EA had to take on nearly $20 billion in debt to finance the deal, PC Gamer's Lincoln Carpenter has a detailed explainer of the leveraged buyout. If you want to know why so many people are deeply worried about how this is going to work out, the union expressed particular concern over the fate of EA Studios, arbitrarily deemed less profitable in the wake of the deal. That concern is particularly pronounced given the tens of thousands of layoffs that have already occurred across the industry over the past few years, even at companies who seem to be doing quite well. So yeah, with that part by there, we talked about that earlier with literally Ubisoft and Tencent. They have gotten rid of Mark Cote, who has been working on the Assassin's Creed franchise for over 20 years. They got rid of him, and that is because Tencent and Ubisoft created a brand new studio called Vantage, and they wanted him to go over there, but it won the job he currently had, because he is the captain of the ship that steered Assassin's Creed. And they were just like, nope, we don't want you anymore. We're getting rid of you if you're not going to take this position. And that is exactly what's going to happen by here. But it does go on to say regarding BioWare is one of the names that comes up repeatedly as a studio at serious risk of closure as the result of EA acquisition. BioWare Studios has made some of the most best horror and fun games out there. Why would you get rid of them? Oh, I know. It's because they're not bringing out the same game every single year, as in EA FIFA. Yeah, it's absolutely nuts. But as you can say though, it does say it's been a decade since the storied RPG developer last produced a bona fide hit, but possibly an even greater threat to BioWare's future is its progressive narrative leaning. As former BioWare lead writer Trick Weeks put it, gay stuff may not be especially welcome at a studio owned by Saudi Arabia. Well, no, because Saudi Arabia obviously have their own laws and they have their own religion, and that is against their religion. So it's going to be interesting to see that which studios do get taken down and how many thousands of people do get fired or made redundant, which it is going to happen. And that's sad because, you know, they could have been working on franchises for decades, as we were on about with Mark Cote at Ubisoft, and BioWare, you know, there's been some stuff out there. And it just sucks to see that even though they had to go $20 billion in debt just to make this deal, it's like, what are you doing? It's almost like, oh, I want this, but I'm going to make myself get in debt and be even worse just so I can sell it to you, make money, but get rid of the money as well. It's just bizarre. It really is. And they do go on, obviously, that if jobs are lost or studios are closed due to this deal, that would be a choice, not a necessity, made to pad investors' pockets, not to strengthen the company, which is very, very true. It's going to be an interesting couple of months to see how this deal does provide and does go over, because there's a lot of stuff where companies who may have made games in the last decade which have been great, but they haven't brought out a game every single year like EA FIFA, like we were saying, or NHL or whatever, all the other kind of sports games. It's almost like now they just want those games because, oh, you can go online. It's a live service game. This is what they want to do. And that sucks. It really does. But guys, let us know what you think about this down below, because I really can't see this going anywhere near something that is going to be a positive. I really can't. Let us know down below, folks. Like and subscribe. As I have always said, my name is Dan. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.